Welcome back, everybody. If you're new here, hi. I am so glad you found your way into this little corner of the internet. Before we even get into today's episode, I want to say thank you for all the messages, the DMs, the check-ins, and everything. Because as some of you know, I was on a little mini vacation last week and I did not upload. And I was just taking a little breather, you guys, and the amount of people who reached out wondering where the episode was because I post consistently, I honestly meant a lot. But no, I am wonderful. In fact, I am overly wonderful. I just was taking a little break. I have a lot going on, and we'll talk about that in today's episode. But all the check-ins reminded me that this is not just a show. It's not just something I do. It's something that you all genuinely look forward to. So again, truly, thank you for all the love. Now, today, we're going to be stepping out of autopilot, taking charge of your life, and actually living it. Not in theory, not in an imaginary one-day sense, but right now. Yes, right now, you guys. This episode is for anyone who feels like they've been watching life happen from the sidelines instead of actually participating in it. So without further ado, let's jump into today's episode.
She's not just a podcast host. She's a movement.
Manda Lea is teaching people how to break cycles and build real wealth, mentally, financially, and spiritually.
People all over the world are waking up to her message.
Wired to be Rich isn't just a podcast, it's a mindset shift.
She makes you believe again in yourself, in your power, and your ability to actually have the life you always known was meant for you.
Hi everyone, I'm Manda Lea, entrepreneur, speaker, and founder of Balance and Destiny, and this is Wired to be Rich. So here's what finally clicked for me. While I've been getting ready for this Africa trip I'm taking in just a few weeks, I'm doing all the packing, planning outfits, and sorting out my travel days. I'm doing all that. I caught myself noticing how different I feel heading into this experience compared to a year or two ago. I was just looking around my apartment, sorting through all my stuff, going through my routines, and realizing that, wow, like I am not the same person walking into this trip that I would have been a year or two ago. I wouldn't have even imagined this, right? And I'll tell you why as we continue the episode. But as I'm pulling things together, I had this moment where I stopped and thought, okay, I want to live with more intention, not because anything is wrong, but because I can literally feel myself stepping into a new level, mentally, emotionally, and energetically. I feel more rooted in myself, more self-respecting, more aware of who I am and what I tolerate. And that version of me is exactly who's boarding this plane. It made me think back on the past few years, and I started noticing all the little spaces or places where I used to say yes out of default or entertain conversations that didn't fit me or my interests, right? Or let things slide because I wasn't actually checking in with myself. I can see how much I've grown out of that. And here's the thing. While I've been preparing for this trip, all of those realizations started lining up. It felt like everything came into focus at the same time. The timing, the energy, the version of myself that I'm stepping into, it all matched. I'm going somewhere that represents expansion for me. And internally, I'm expanding right along with it. What it showed me is that I want to make choices from presence, not autopilot. I want my energy going exactly where it feels aligned, not where my habit tries to place it. And this trip brought that forward in a way I honestly didn't expect. And I haven't even gone yet, but it's the preparation that's making me really realize that I'm becoming exactly who I said I would always become and not who I never even thought I would become at the same time. This is about acknowledging that I have already shifted into a new space and era of time, and letting myself live from that place with intention, clarity, and excitement for what's next. And what's really setting the tone for me right now is the fact that I'm flying first class to Africa. You guys, it's one thing to fly first class in general, but flying myself first class to Africa is the dream little girl Amanda didn't even think was possible. Just not even 2 years ago now, I was starting off the year in just a totally different space, financially, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all that. And the fact that I am literally flying myself first class across the world, it changed everything for me. It is changing everything for me. At first, I was just simply excited to take myself excited to experience the rawness, the stillness, the spiritual connection that Africa naturally holds. But now it's like flying myself there first class, and that adds a whole different layer. I honestly cannot even wait to even just be in the Delta One lounge, you guys. Relaxing, eating real food, sipping something nice, and treating myself in a way that reflects the life that I'm actively creating. It's one thing to book a vacation, right? But it's something else to entirely show up for yourself with this level of intention. And the more I do things like this, the more that my life expands. Because I'm gonna tell you, when you start giving yourself real experiences, you stop obsessing over things that don't matter, right? You stop entertaining what drains you. You start realizing that you can have whatever lifestyle you want when your energy is aligned with what you're building. This trip might look like a getaway on the outside, but for me, it symbolizes the standard I'm setting for myself moving forward. How I date, how I work, the kind of people I surround myself with, what I accept, what I don't. All of it shifts when you treat yourself like someone whose life deserves intention. And now that I've raised that bar, I'm not lowering it ever again. Not in travel, not in love, not in friendship, not in anything. And honestly, this is also why I'm caring less about other people's opinions too. I don't need to be chosen. I know who I am. I'm magnetic, capable, drop dead gorgeous, powerful. I'm not waiting for anyone to validate that anymore. I'm the one choosing. And the more that I invest in myself, the more truth becomes non-negotiable. And I really want to keep emphasizing this because I want y'all to also look at yourself this way. So I know I'm saying me, but picture that I'm speaking this to you. Like we're having a nice conversation casually over some tea or some lattes. And this leads me to the next thing I want to talk about. The moment when it really hit me that it was never about being worthy enough or waiting for permission. The answer has always been yes. I can do whatever I want. You can do whatever you want. It's just a matter of when I or you step into it fully. Once I stopped coasting through my days, right, and actually seeing things in a much clearer way, I started seeing people, places, and opportunities for what they really are. And honestly, I even started seeing myself for who I really am. It felt like I'd been peeping through the blinds of my own life this entire time, and suddenly I realized I don't have to peep. I can just decide and go. I'm paying attention to how I show up for myself, how other people show up for themselves, and for me, how consistent people are, how they speak, the energy they carry. And it tells me everything I need to know without me having to guess. You don't have to guess. It goes both ways though. I started noticing myself too, how I respond, what I entertain, what irritates me instantly, what I've outgrown, and what actually feels like peace. I'm catching things in real time that I used to miss because I was just simply too busy trying to make everything, quote unquote, make sense. Now I just notice it, and that is enough. Like this past weekend, for instance. Happy belated Valentine's Day also, you guys. I hope y'all had a really great night, a really great day. But this past weekend, I was chatting with a gentleman at a lounge that I go to, and we were having this very deep conversation. I had just finished having dinner with my girls, and then we went to a lounge, and I met this gentleman. We had a deep conversation. And for the first time in a long time, I wasn't projecting anything onto the person across from me. I wasn't wondering if I could marry this man or date him long term. I didn't like the thought didn't even cross my mind. I was just simply observing who he was, holding a casual conversation and asking myself, do I want to add this energy into the life that I'm already building? And the answer was, in some ways, yes. He's smart. He's into day trading. He's been doing it for almost 10 years. He understands the market. He's someone I could absolutely have great business conversations with. But based on his external environment and the lifestyle he's navigating, I knew immediately that I didn't want to integrate that into my personal life. So I compartmentalized in real time. And the wildest part is I genuinely did not care if he chose me. I wasn't sitting there hoping to be picked. I was deciding if I wanted to pick him and in what capacity. I wasn't judging him or creating narratives. I wasn't attaching myself to something that didn't align. I was just reading his energy and noticing how he presented himself and paying attention to how it made me feel. Observation gives you space, right? Space to choose, space to respond, space to move differently without drama. And once you start living like that, life gets easier. Not because everything just magically improves overnight. It's not realistic, you guys. But because you stop ignoring the information right in front of you, in your face, literally. You make cleaner decisions. You stop forcing situations. You stop overthinking about people who already showed you who they are. You get clear on what you want, and you don't stop until you get it. I repeat that part. You get clear on what you want, and you do not stop until you get it. That's what observation does. It pulls you out of confusion and puts you back into alignment. It feels like an upgrade to the version of the person that you've always been. For me, I'm not letting life just happen around me anymore. I'm actually participating in it, right? And the more I pay attention, the more everything around me shifts with me. And honestly, I'm enjoying that more and more and more. I'm enjoying life way more. The biggest change in my life right now isn't just what I notice, it's what I actually do with it. I'm in a place where I'm not sitting around waiting for a sign, a green light, or someone to confirm my choices. I just make the choice. And that alone is a whole new level of peace. I'm choosing things that genuinely add to my life. If something feels exciting, I say yes. If it drains me, I don't touch it. It's really that simple. I'm not over explaining why I'm unavailable. I'm not softening my boundaries so people don't feel weird. I'm not stretching myself thin just to make something work. I'm operating from what makes sense for me. And taking action shows up in the smallest ways. It's booking a trip because I want the experience, simply. It's removing myself from the conversation if it makes me uncomfortable or if it feels stale. It's giving my energy to people who show up with good intentions. It's letting momentum build because I'm actually moving, not sitting still hoping life magically rearranges itself. And honestly, there's a different kind of calm that comes with being decisive. Not reckless, but decisive. And when I choose quickly, I free up my brain, right? I don't drag out situations that already told me everything. There's no point. I don't stay in limbo waiting for someone else to make the first move. I don't ask for clarity from people who don't have any. There's just something powerful about realizing that you don't need perfect timing, a 3-month plan, or the right moment to start living your life. You just start. You choose. You say yes, or you say no, and you move. But the more I move like that, the easier everything around me becomes. This era of mine isn't about controlling the outcome. It's about participating in the process, right? So that means not gripping to anything or forcing anything to make sense. It's acting from what feels aligned and letting the rest fall into place. Because what's for you is for you. Whether that's a new move, a new apartment, a new house, a new partner, a new job, anything. Life really does respond differently when you stop waiting for permission and start acting like the main character in your own story. That's where everything changes in the doing, you guys, not the thinking. Now, what I'm realizing is that living your best life isn't some finish line you cross, right? It doesn't show up as one perfect moment. It's a frequency, a way of moving that starts showing up in the small, random, everyday moments that add up. It's waking up and feeling genuinely lighter. It's having a conversation that reminds you that you're not meant for the bare minimum. It's making a decision that affirms your autonomy. It's realizing that you don't need to prove anything to anyone because you finally see yourself clearly. When you start choosing yourself consistently, not loudly, not aggressively, just steadily, your entire world starts rearranging itself around that choice. So you'll start noticing that people are shifting, opportunities are shifting, your energy. Life becomes easier because you're not fighting yourself anymore. And that's exactly the frequency that I'm in as I get ready for this Africa trip. I'm going for a few weeks and I'm super excited about that, you guys. Or a couple weeks, I should say. This trip represents something bigger for me than just a vacation. It's me choosing myself on a level I've never done before. It's me saying, I want this experience and I'm going to give it to myself. Not waiting for anyone to take me, not waiting for anyone to join me, not waiting for the perfect time. I'm doing it because it aligns with who I am right now. And the beauty of it is how natural it feels. It doesn't feel like a little treat. I mean, it does, but it's like it's a new standard that I'm setting for myself and stepping into. A life that matches my energy, my growth, my intention, and my desires. I'm taking myself somewhere I've always wanted to go. And in the way that I've always imagined going, right? In comfort, confidence, peace, and alignment. That's what living your best life actually is. Not the highlight moments, but the quiet decision to show up for yourself without hesitation. And when you lock into that, life becomes fuller, softer, funnier, more abundant, and more aligned. everything starts to flow. So as I step into this next chapter, this journey, this trip, this experience, it feels like an escape and more like the beginning of a life that I've been growing toward for a very, very long time. And honestly, you guys, Africa is just the start. Y'all have no idea what else I have planned this year, and I cannot wait to continue to share it with you because it's almost unreal. But that's where I'm landing, fully in my life, fully present, and fully choosing myself in ways that actually match who I am right now. No sidelines, no waiting, just intention, clarity, and joy. And if you've been feeling that same pull to take charge of your own life, take this as your sign. Start choosing in the direction that you actually want to go. So I hope that helped. I hope that resonated with some of you, and some of you took a lot of advice from that. Thank you for listening and for showing up and for being part of this space with me. If you want to connect, you can find me on Instagram at ForbesManda_ or email me at info@balancedestiny.com. I love hearing from you. Tell me what's happening in your world, what shifts you're making, and where you're ready to take the lead. And let me know what you want to hear next on the show. I appreciate you all way more than you know. Until next time, keep choosing yourself, keep moving with intention, and keep stepping into the life that's actually meant for you. I'll see y'all next week. Bye.